Good afternoon, YouTubers. Tsquare with Tsquare Talk. So I wanted to do a video on this today. What's going on over in China right now? Now I know some people are going to be like, "Well, how does that affect me?" I think China is being a little open and honest with their people because they're afraid what might be about ready to go down, and they kind of want to be in the right. With that being said, China just put out a news article from the state basically saying stock up on food now for winter shortages or extreme weather events. Now, I believe there is a lot of extreme weather events going on right now. We've seen a lot of records for floods, natural disasters, everything going on. However, the fact that they came out and said something is kind of a little scary. And I say a little scary because you don't want to instill fear in your people. And so you would not really want to go out and say a message like this unless you absolutely had to. Just like you can look at other stories that they've maybe some smart politicians have tried to downplay just to not instill fear, because fear leads to panic. Panic leads to even more chaos. That's why a lot of us on the channel, we've been preparing for different stuff to happen, whether that preparing for a dollar collapse, whether that's preparing for food shortages, whether that's preparing for natural disasters. A story like this literally is breaking news right now, I believe. It just came out late last night. So for the U.S., that was not super long ago because of the time change differences. The fact that they put that out, we're going to take a look at the story here in a minute. And I would say to my subscribers, I would recommend, I don't really like to recommend stuff, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I would, if it were me, pick up some extra essentials. Have a little extra food on hand. Coming winter, you never know what could happen. If it's wrong, it's some extra canned goods, some extra dry goods, all that will come in handy. I think we could start seeing more and more crazy stuff happen come this winter. I actually had a friend of mine, he was up in Houston this past weekend, and his truck got broken into. Now, ironically, he had two MS-70 perfect Silver Eagles graded by PCGS in his truck. They stole a cup full of change and, just a couple little odds and ends. Nothing really major valuable. And then they left those 2 coins sitting right there. I mean, they were literally sitting right in the glove box. It was kind of crazy. I may talk about that a little bit more at a later time because it goes to show that people are not prepared. They don't understand what could happen when it comes to precious metals. The fact that they were overlooked. It was only 2 ounces. It was a small amount of money. You're maybe talking $125 for the 2 coins. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, depending on where you buy them from. But with that being said, there's so many different things that people are not prepared for. And right now, this video, I really want to bring light onto the food shortages. A lot of people don't believe there's food shortages. Even one subscriber on the channel that I talk with through different chats said, "Nah, I think it's fake. I don't think it's real." I think that just because you're in a good area, or someone here might be in a good area, there are people that are in bad areas. And what we're seeing is more and more shortages in smaller items. We're seeing them try to cover up the shortages by, don't fill the shelves up. In the old days, or not even the old days, a year and a half, 2 years ago, when the shelf was full, it was full. They had to utilize all the shelf space. And so you might see an item in your grocery store that was like 10 deep. So a can of corn might have been 10 deep. Now you're seeing 1 deep, 2 deep. You used to see them stacked on top of each other. So you'd have a can here and a can here. 10 deep, you're talking 20 cans of that item. Now you're not seeing that. You're seeing a lot of, them putting empty boxes behind to kind of push the cans up more forward. You're seeing a lot of tricks that they're doing to hide essentially what I believe is the food shortage that's already started. And I think China wants people to be a little more prepared for this. Obviously, you want to help your friends, you want to help your family. If one person gets teased, I apologize. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Someone just subscribed to the channel. I have it set up on my speaker, so whenever someone subscribes to the channel, welcome to the party, pal. So it kind of broke my train of thought a little bit. But this way, if I'm in the other room and I'm not doing anything on YouTube, I'll hear it, and it always makes me smile when I hear people hit that subscribe button. So if you want to make me smile, hit that subscribe button and leave a like and leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this video. So back to this food shortage thing. A lot of people don't see what's happening. And, a lot of the pandemic, it started overseas first. Then it came to the U.S. Then it hit the major cities like California, New York, Hawaii. And it slowly trickled in to bigger cities throughout the U.S. and then smaller suburbs and then small towns. Now, obviously, cities are going to be hit the hardest. So if you do live near a city or in a city, I would be very cautious. Stock up a little bit more. I'm actually fixing to shoot a video where I am, this is going to sound weird to some people, but I am putting dried pasta in airtight jars. And the reason I'm doing that, some people will use Mylar bags, some people say it's fine just in the bag. Canning jars, I'm a big fan of. I like having extra canning jars. If things did get ugly really quick, canning jars would come in extremely handy for a lot of different things. And literally putting some pasta in the jars, yes, I understand I'm going to spend a little bit more for the jars, but it gives an extra sense of security. It's an extra item that I want to have on hand anyway. And so it kind of works good all the way around. So with that being said, we're going to jump over. We're going to take a look at this story. And that way you guys can kind of see for yourself, and then you guys can run through. Now, before I do get going, I'd like to take a quick minute and thank everybody that is subscribed to the channel. We have a lot of great videos, over 1,500 videos. Please check out some of our great videos. Whether you're into preserving food, whether you're into coin collecting, whether you just like the live streams, whether you want to get into farming, homesteading, that type of stuff, coin hunting, cooking, knowing how to use a lot of the food that you stockpile is an important thing. For a while, I'll be honest with you guys, I had a lot of beans and rice in my house, 2 items that I was not a fan of. I really didn't know how to cook for the longest time, but I had it, and I always said, you know what, I'll figure it out if I'm hungry. And it's true, you will figure it out if you're hungry, but it makes a big difference knowing how to cook some of these foods. So that's why I recommend you check out all of our cooking videos and other topics. You can literally do a lot with rice aside from just plain Jane rice. Rice is a good staple food. It's filling. On top of that, you can make sushi, you can use it as sides, you can, almost spice up any dish with rice. So to not use something like that, or to think, well, I'm just going to get it and have it, and if things go wrong, because, my rice is packed to sustain 20 years, roughly, using Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, that type of stuff. And I am doing a series of videos on how to preserve your rice, how to preserve your beans, how to preserve your flour. I want to have an actual full playlist on just purely preserving food. Now, I do already have that here, but it's not as extreme. This video right here, literally 115,000 people have watched this. This is one of my more popular videos on long-term storage. On this video right here, I was just doing some extra rice, some extra beans, and some extra pasta. Not a lot. It was stuff that I had picked up at the store. You can see right here I like putting it in jars, and then I'll just use it right out of the jar. So now moving on though to the story, obviously food shortages is a big thing right now. If you Google food shortages, you will see a lot of articles come up. Now, the article that really, really blew my mind was this one. China urges families to stockpile food and essentials amid fears of winter shortages. I'm going to go through, I'm going to read some of this. They got a cool picture of like essentially all the different stuff at one of their little mom and pop shops in China. Scrolling through though, China has urged families to stockpile food and essentials for emergency use, triggering concerns over potential food shortages, even as supply chains has been disrupted due to extreme weather and outbreaks. I'm not going to use that word in red, just because I sometimes think Google don't like it. But outbreaks, you guys know what I'm talking about. The announcement came late Monday from China's Commerce Ministry. It urges authorities to keep supply chains smooth and maintain stable prices, and give early warnings in case of any potential shortages. The ministry also said the authorities must publicize information on whether and how they could get supplies in the area that are under lockdown. So right there, I'm thinking there's a couple things here that come to mind. More potential lockdowns. What could cause lockdowns? Potential issues with China and Taiwan, obviously. The U.S. getting involved. If it comes to that, who knows if it will come to that. This to me is essentially, I'm going to say, rumors of war. Do I worry about it? Yes. But you guys know I'm a religious person, some of y'all that watch the channel, and I'm not really going to concern myself with rumors of war. But I am going to concern myself with what's really going on, and I think that the food shortages is a real thing. A lot of the stores in my area are starting to run lower on stuff. It's more specific, maybe your brand, maybe an item you're looking for. You might have to go to another store to get it, or if you're like me, you know what days the store is full. I know that my closest grocery store, I know what days they get their trucks in, that way I can kind of go the next morning. I got to get up early. I'm not an early bird. But I do get up early and I'll go if I really, really need something. So that's something to keep in mind. For a country to put this out, this is essentially fear. There is no potential gains for the country that I can see to put this out. I know someone out there might say, oh yeah, the gain is so they can sell you stuff. The country does not want to sell you stuff at a time when we're already having shortages on product. We can't keep stuff in. That would be like when we were here in the U.S., we were in our toilet paper issue where you couldn't find toilet paper anywhere. It started with toilet paper. That was probably the most mainstream thing, but it spread to a lot of other stuff. And basically, that would be like them saying after toilet paper has all been wiped out, we recommend you stock up on toilet paper. There's no point in that. There's no point in sharing that. They don't want to make a couple dollars. They can bleed you dry on taxes. They're not worried about you buying a couple extra rolls of toilet paper or a couple extra bags of beans or rice or canned goods or whatever. So for people that think that right off, I am open to other people's opinions, but be mindful of that. Do you really think that they care about, potentially the 10-cent tax that they might put on that can of beans? No. So I believe China is really worried about this, and they want to get in front of this and be able to say, we told you so. We told you so. But a lot of people are not going to stock up. They're going to think this is a joke. I've heard it before. And then when everything runs out or stuff shuts down or they start, I'm going to say lockdowns in some areas again. I know we have lifted pretty much all of our lockdowns here in the U.S., but I'm not going to say for a minute that I don't think that they won't come back. If the cases get crazy, this administration has done some stuff that I never thought would happen, and therefore you never know what could happen. So I would recommend, just kind of just pick up a few extra cans, a couple extra cans of different stuff. Use your judgment. Prices are only going up. I mean, if I look at a case of pasta that I bought 3 months ago, that pasta now costs more money today. So right there, by paying in the front, I'm saving money in the back. So if you buy something today that's $1 a can, and 3 months from now you use it, and now it's $1.25 a can, well, essentially you saved a quarter on every can. Now I know someone out there is going to say, dude, you are cheap. It's a quarter, man. Don't think of it like that. The thing I always like to tell people is it may just be a quarter, but it's 25%. If I take your pay and I drop it by 25%, you would not be happy. Realistically, you're not going to be happy. If you took a 25% pay cut for whatever the reason, you're not going to be happy. Now, that's essentially what this is going to cause. This is going to give you 25% less food and everyday items that you buy. So it's something I want people to be mindful of, and I want people to be a little more prepared for this stuff. You can look up some of these stories. It is spreading. I'm looking at different dried foods. I have a good friend of mine. His wife is Asian, and I actually went over to their house last night and had dinner because they just went up to Houston to the Asian market, and they brought back all kinds of amazing, delicious stuff. And basically, I got invited over and got to eat some of this stuff like hollow donuts and what was some of the other stuff. The sandwich was like delicious. It was a sandwich that had almost like pickled vegetables, which was really good. Fried bananas, fried tofu, that was really good. The banana was almost like it was in like basically an egg roll shell. It was super delicious. But needless to say, where I'm going with this, there's a lot of things to consider, whether that's dried vegetables that you can just, soak in water and rehydrate them, to noodles, to beans, to pasta, that type of stuff. So I am going to be making some more videos on kind of foods that you can preserve. So we'll be talking more about that in the upcoming weeks. I am still looking at precious metals. I'm still big now. I'm getting bigger on cryptos. I know some people are against cryptos. I do plan on explaining in a future video really soon why I'm not only in silver and gold, but also precious metal, also cryptos. Because I know some people are like, oh, you sell out, dude. Why would you get into cryptos? Cryptos are doing phenomenal. And if they can keep this pretend charade going that gold and silver is worthless and precious and cryptos are where it's at, we could see a big rally on cryptos. And therefore, I want to have a little bit of diversity in that. And like I said, I'm going to go into more detail on that in the future. Right now, Shiba is my number one coin that I like. Coming in today down 4%, but still at 0.0000691. But I think we're about ready to have possibly a rally. Just not financial advice, my personal opinion. I think we're going to see a potential rally on Shiba only because I think eventually more platforms are going to get it, specifically the Robinhood trading platform. One thing a lot of people don't see is that there are 515 trillion Shiba coins. 515 trillion. Should that go to a penny, that basically is going to be, I think it comes out to $5.3 trillion market cap if it just goes to a penny. I know some people out there are going to say it can never go to a penny. However, that would severely blow out Bitcoin's market cap of 1.1 trillion. So just kind of keep that in mind. And, you know, we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. But I'm going to talk more about that a little later. So this video I wanted it to stay mostly about the food shortages. And I really recommend you guys look into this a little bit and start preparing. I thank everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you made it this far, you must have enjoyed something in the video or found something useful. So hit that subscribe button, follow us again, and we'll see you guys again on Tsquare Talk. My prayers go out to everybody that subscribes, and we're going to see what happens. So take care, everybody. You have a great one, and thanks for watching.